Hey YouTube. I need a sound check. Testing. Number 9. Number 9. Well, thank you, Nisi. I'm pretty much bereft of topics. I'm good, Nisi. How are things in the far north today? Did you guys get hit by this storm that everyone's talking about? Hey, Cody, son, welcome to the stream. I'm once again pretty much bereft of topics. I I've been trying to go around and watch people's videos. It's getting to be a real chore to keep up with the fish fam. There are so many people out there. I've developed several things that I watch regularly. I missed the question. I was getting my earbuds connected. Cody's son says 15 inches and snowing there. Now I feel you. We don't. Nisi, I basically asked if you got hit by this storm that's supposedly going across the country right now, dropping snow. I think that's 15 degrees and snowing. Nisi says, "Oh dear, the wind blew my snow away." Okay. So you got the gusty winds, but the snow didn't have a chance to stick. Huh? I'm sure it's drifted up on someone's front door somewhere. I Now we got 55 plus mile an hour wind gusts. How cold is it, Nisi? How cold to go with that 55 mile an hour wind gust? Cody's son says you like 8 inches so far. Yeah. Now, we are getting really cold rain here in southern Indiana, but it's been cold the past few days. And I'm hearing through the grapevine. Nisi says 5 degrees. 5 degrees and 55 mile an hour wind gusts. That's a wind chill of about what, negative 20, negative 25, something like that. Maybe worse, maybe negative 30. Keep your fingers covered up when you go outside in that kind of weather. They're talking here in Louisville like we're actually going to finally drop into real winter here. So it's been squirrely this year. It's been warm a couple of days and then cold, and to start the winter off we had some really harsh cold where it was just really bitter cold, like 15 degrees outside and the wind blowing, and then that all kind of went away and it warmed up, and it's been staying in the 50s, and then now it's supposedly going to get down into the teens again. So here in the northern hemisphere, we are finally getting to the real brass tacks of winter in the southern Indiana, northern Kentucky. Nisi's blowing the storm over onto Canada. I think they're going to get hit. I think they've already gotten hit. But I've been trying to get around to everybody's channel and catch up on videos. Um, I'm currently, uh, my wife is in the hospital. She was suffering some very serious pain, and this is a woman who has suffered all kinds of maladies most of her life. And when she evidences serious pain, I immediately go into action mode because I know from all the pain that she suffered in her lifetime that when she's really hurting, she's really in pain. So uh, we finally ended up taking her to the emergency room. The emergency room couldn't figure out what it was. Hey Joel, welcome to the stream. They, that was Thursday night, I guess. Thursday night, we took her to the emergency room, and they've had her ever since. And her pain was on such of a high level that they've kept her there to try to moderate her pain and keep her under watch. They've done all kinds of testing. Uh, the closest thing they can come up with is some lymph nodes that they want to biopsy, which that's always a scary thing. But I went and saw her a little while ago, and she was doing a lot better. And doing a lot better in the sense of how she's suffering. So I was happy to see that. Um, but that's kind of cut into me doing any kind of other extracurricular activities as far as spending a lot of time on the interwebs. And I've tried to catch up, and I've seen a couple of things that I really enjoyed. Um, I was behind, but Corey did a live stream on the 2nd. Thanks, Cody son. Hey, Fishroom Fever, welcome to the stream. And you're more than welcome to lurk. Corey did a video on the 2nd, a live stream. Corey McElroy, Aquarium Co-op. And it's been kind of bugging me. And by bugging me, I mean the video was great. I really enjoyed. Thank you, Nisi. I really enjoyed the video that Corey did where he was talking about what he saw as trends in 2020. You know, we're into the middle of the first month of a new year, so everybody's looking forward to what the new year is going to bring. And Corey has a kind of remarkable catbird seat to watch our hobby. You know, we're all connected in our hobby in certain ways, but someone that's running a business and doing data streams and looking at trends has an even better position to see what's probably going to be on the horizon and what's probably going to dip off of the horizon in our hobby as far as fads and sales and popular fish species and those kinds of things. He's got a particularly good view, a much clearer picture than most of us do about what's coming on the horizon. And Corey has a really remarkable personal ethic. Hey, Joseph, welcome to the stream, man. How's things on the island? And how soon are you going to be off the island? He has a really remarkable personal ethic that one drives him in the business sense, that makes him driven in a business sense, and he really works to try to um, move his business forward, and he does it in ways that are not what the Fortune 500 would probably suggest. He does it in ways that he would like to see if he was a customer. He wants, sweet. If you get those blue tetras back in the country on the mainland, I want some of them, Joseph. I know it may be a while, and you may have trouble once you get them back here. But if you do get them back here and they continue to breed so prolifically for you, I want some at some point. You'll have to sell them to me or ship them to me or something. I've already been through about 40 of them, so I've got to do a completely different setup for those guys. I'll model it after what I've seen you do, though. Anyway, Corey, as far as his business sense goes, it's obviously great, but he tries to do the right thing because it's good business, and that is an ethic that is pretty much long gone in this day and age, that doing the right thing makes good business sense. You know, used to corporations were part of the community where they belonged, where they were located at. They invested in the local community. They built school playgrounds. They did all kinds of stuff. Hey, Haley, welcome to the stream. Long time no see. Anyway, I just really think Corey brings something to the fish hobby business side. Hey, 44 Mag Guy, welcome to the stream. That Corey brings something really special, and as Joseph knows, we got to spend some good quality time around Corey and get to know him as a person. And don't get me wrong, Corey has all the markings of a YouTube celebrity, and all the accoutrement and all the stuff that comes along with being a fish hobby celebrity, is a good way to put it, you know. But Corey has a personal sense that makes him want to do things because he is still a hobbyist. He's not a CEO that only thinks in CEO terms. He still thinks in hobbyist terms. And anytime you can find a fish store owner that still thinks like a hobbyist, that is someone that you want to stay connected to. That is someone whose pronouncements and choices deserve your opinion or deserve your views. You need to pay attention to someone who is in a business involved with the fish hobby that still considers themselves a hobbyist more than a business person. And one of the remarkable things in that video was Corey agonizing, self-agonizing, honestly, about buying himself a Rolex wristwatch. And I've thought about this. I've gone up and down. I see all the arguments that, you know, this is an upgraded business armor piece for him to buy. Oh my, the blue is strong here. Yeah, Fisher and Fever. I like having a wall of mods. That way everybody can post here. Let's make it solid. Um, Everybody can post links if they need to. Um, Everybody that's in here is someone you should be paying attention to and following and watching. Um, we're fish fam. This isn't about who's better or who's worse or who's this or who's that. Anyway, I just really appreciated Corey's conundrum of buying a fancy, expensive wristwatch. For Corey to spend $5,000 on a wristwatch as a Rolex, it's tough for him. It's tough for the frugal miser that resides in him to justify spending that kind of outrageous money. And believe me, that's outrageous money. It's not outrageous by worldly standards, but it's outrageous by most of our standards. That much money on a wristwatch, because it will reflect on him in business that here is someone who can afford to take contracts, who can afford to pay the going rate, who can afford to do business with everyone. Joel says, and naturally he's like, what's your cheapest Rolex? Well, to listen to him talk about it, he's justified doing that by how small it is. That he doesn't want one of those, what did he say, hockey puck wristwatches that's going to block his wrist from being able to move when he wants to. But he wants the I wear London fog, what do you wear kind of panache that flashing a Rolex on your wrist gives you. In other words, here's someone with enough money to enjoy the finer things in life. He's not going to sweat it if you up the freight bill on his $3 million order by $50, you know. And 44 Mag says, hell, $5,000, I could buy so many guns, fish, and art supplies. And 44 Mag, you bring up the other side of the argument. I've gone back and forth about what I would suggest to Corey. You know, what I would, if he were to ask me, should I do this? And he won't. But if he did, I would offer advice to him about it. And one side of it is, Corey, don't you think you would feel better about yourself as a person if you spent that $5,000 on any of the worthy people and places and companies that are in the Amazon, trying to save the Amazon, trying to make the fish trade in the Amazon equal for the collectors, the people that actually go out in the water, in the rivers, in the lakes, and Fisher and Fever, his 800-gallon was $15,000 for the stand and the tank itself, or maybe the stand was extra. I'm sure Corey's got well over $20,000, a cool $20,000 in that 800 gallon. But he did that as a business expense. He did it um, as a way to jump start his channel again, as a way to bring in huge viewers, and it worked. He jumped his channel like crazy. I'm not sure that that 800 gallon has paid for itself yet. And Nisi says if he wants a nice watch, he should get a nice watch. He's earned it. He doesn't seem to splurge on frivolous things. Well, I mean, I'm of two minds about this issue. Part of me says exactly what Nisi says. One half of my soul says, Corey, go get the damn watch. It's not like you haven't earned it. It's not like it's not going to help you in business when you sit down and flash that watch. Joseph says Rolex will break tank glass. It might. Haley says watches and water don't mix, but to each their own. I buy shoes with wheels and other people buy other things. Who cares? And I agree wholeheartedly, Haley. And yet, this is Corey we're talking about. And Corey is he tries to be as transparent and as honest as he can without breaking his business and without really letting us in to the inside of Corey's head, what Corey honestly really thinks. He keeps us at arm's length as far as that goes, which everybody has to do that. Everybody that's in any kind of public situation has to keep the public at arm's length or their life's over. If people were showing up at Corey's house every day, all day long, late into the night, he'd have to move, So he's got to maintain a certain amount of non-transparency to the public. So he's as honest and truthful as he can be without breaking through that barrier that protects him as a person. And I have to respect that. I have to acknowledge that he is doing the best he can with the cards that he is dealt, in the sense of this is what I can do and this is what I can't do. And yet here he is on the horns of a dilemma. He wants that Rolex watch. It's one of the few things that he really wants. And it's so much money that he can't really justify it. So I think that my advice to Corey is hey, down the wormhole, welcome to the stream. We're razzing Corey and trying to help him resolve his Rolex envy and his desire to buy one. Nisi says Doug bought a nice planner and planner bag for me. Why? Because I wanted a nicer setup. To each his own, as they say. Corey's done so much for the hobby and our community. I, for one, won't judge. Yeah, I'm not going to judge him. I'll razz the hell out of him if I get the chance. If I see him at a convention or something, I'll say, damn, Corey, rocking the Rolex, huh? Hey, Bob, welcome to the stream. But my initial gut reaction is, Corey, go buy the damn watch. You deserve something like this. I mean, he buys what he needs, but he's pretty good about not pissing money away, So my initial reaction is, go buy it. Go buy it and enjoy it. Flaunt it. But my internal reaction is, Corey, wouldn't you feel better about yourself if you use that same $5,000 in a way that really forwards the place of our hobby in this world? HC Aqua says I would buy a boat instead. HC Aqua, the two happiest days in a boat owner's life are the day they buy it and the day they sell it. Boats are an anchor around your neck once you own them. They are a money pit, and unless you buy something really sparse, you will very quickly either one, want a different boat, or two, try to sell the one that you have. And so, yes, boats are great, but boats come with their own load of issues. And Nisi misses her boat. Hey, Flynn's Fish Forum, welcome. Long time no see, 3F. How's kicks in Canada? I just really want Corey to resolve this Rolex issue, this tempest in a teapot, in a way that satisfies him. You know, the problem... Haley finally got the bear a new car. Yeehaw! Grats to Bear. Doug says, throw $100 bills into a fire until it feels good, then you're ready for a boat. Yee! Joel says, my aunt and uncle won the lottery and bought a large boat. Aunt never worked prior. 5 years later, run out of money, and aunt needs to go back to work to maintain the boat. Yeah. I'm afraid that boats, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing more enjoyable than being out on a large lake on a beautiful day, or going fishing early in the morning when the fog's still on the water, slowly moving into position to catch largemouth bass using black salamanders as bait. Those kinds of experiences on a boat are remarkable. Joseph said Lucas just released his first adventure from last weekend down here with me. Oh, man. Okay, I'm sorry. The live stream's over. I'm going to go watch. Hey, Alice KH. Welcome to the stream. We're tangentially talking about fish stuff, Alice. If you've got fish questions, please lay them on us and give this poor guy a topic to ramble on, or to wax poetic on, or to drool helplessly on. Sometimes I am not capable of giving the correct answer to the questions that people bring to the stream, but I want to help. And if I can't help, I will try to find someone that I either know or my beard. It's a lot shorter now than it was. You'll have to go back and look at some of the videos from Peru, which this is the pictures, my picture stream from Peru. But you'll have to go back and look at some of the other people's, Corey's or Dean's or Joseph's videos from Peru to see what my beard really looked like. Bob says, why are we talking about a watch? How, I guess I mean low. Bob, I was talking about trying to catch up on other people's videos, including yours, and congrats on the eggs. Um, and I was talking about the video that Corey did, and that it has been kind of poking around in my head, trying to give Corey good, effective advice. My advice is go get the watch. But my other advice is take that money and do something with it to help some fish fam related charity in such a way where you make a huge difference. Like Corey, buy Haley a ticket to Africa so she can go study and collect rope fish live in Africa. Wouldn't you feel better, Corey, if you did that? I, I just I just I just am afraid that, like all of us, when there's something that we really, 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 really want, and we've Africa trip sponsored. I, I, I think that with material things that that we believe will make us happy, that when we buy them and actually have them, when the conquest of getting them is over, they don't live up to our expectations. They don't live up to our belief that they will cause us happiness. And so that is the one caveat that I would throw at Corey about spending all that money on a watch and then having buyer's remorse that he spent all that money on a watch. Now, a Rolex you could probably sell. He could probably get most of his money back, but that's such a waste of emotion and effort. You know, why spend all that money on a watch and then just sell it back because you decided it really didn't make you as happy as you thought. So I'm still kicking that back and forth in my head, and this is my way of talking to Corey about buying himself a watch. Go buy the watch, Corey. You're going to hate it. It's not going to be what you expect. You'll feel so much better about yourself if you spend that $5,000 on a charity that really pushes the hobby forward in some way. That's my advice. Joel says it's something he's buying himself as an individual, but it's concerned about the look. The notion the money could be better spent on the hobby. So could all the money they frittered away on crap. Yes, you're definitely right there, Joel. Nisi says, I'm sure he has the membership money separate from watch money. Corey's a smart man. He knows how to track what goes where. Also, he has to pay himself. Who's to say what someone spend their personal money on? No one. No one has the right to either look down their noses or to poo-poo what someone else chooses to, he's an adult. He gets to pick and choose. I mean, if we're dictating what people spend their personal money on, then what's wrong with our mindsets? Just wait till people hear about the diamond grill he's getting soon after. Yeah, now, if Corey pops up a diamond grill, then we're talking about where is Corey and what have you done with him? Corey would look amazing with a full diamond grill. Yeehaw! Bob says if I were thinking of a luxury buy, I'm not sure I would make it public. Well, that's what Corey's going through. That's what's agonizing Corey. Part of it is he's afraid everyone in the fish fam's going to turn their nose up at him and think he's some kind of scam artist, you know, trying to dig in their pockets. 44 Meg guy says gold is more modest than a diamond grill. Yeah, well, it would be known publicly, though. It's on his hand. He's being upfront and honest. Yeah, painfully so, Nisi. He's publicly agonizing about the choice. So that's what makes it so poignant. That's what makes it so, it's like one of those things that once you've seen it, you can't look away. You know, it's one of those things that you're never going to unsee. Corey agonizing about his choice of a Rolex watch to wear on his arm. But when he goes into a business meeting, that Rolex speaks volumes. It introduces him. It says, I'm a member of this club. And so for a business decision, it makes perfect sense. Joel says the harshest judgment that has ever existed is that of social media. And Joel, while I would echo, hey Alien World Aquatics, welcome to the stream. Joel, while I would echo that sentiment, I would tell you that the real harshest judgment is 5 to 8-year-olds in a school setting where there is a clique and those outside the clique. Those are the harshest judgments you'll ever face in your life. If you can get through grade school, you can get through anything, because those kids are maniacal. They will torture you to death if they can. So yeah, it's tough. Social media is tough love, but kids, young kids, are the most brutal things on the planet. Yee. Yep, I can imagine. All right, I've wasted half of a live stream talking about pure BS. Thanks for stopping by, Chevy Fish. Kids are one of a kind. Yes, they are. There are hopes and our prayers and our joys, but they can be brutal to each other. It's like putting 3 pairs of breeding convicts in the same tank. There's going to be a reckoning at some point. Those 3 pairs of fish are going to terrorize the crap out of each other. Alice KH says, I keep aquariums more as a beautiful decoration in my house rather than a hobby. Maybe I'm strange. No, Alice, that is a perfectly valid reason to keep an aquarium in your house. They are beautiful. Alien World Aquatics says, I teach martial arts to kids as young as 3. I know what you mean. Yee. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, except for a 4-year-old on the playground who's been slighted in some way. No, Alice, you are perfectly perfectly allowed to see fish tanks as a beautiful decoration. Let no one in the hobby tell you otherwise. Now, that being said, we will badger you to learn more about your hobby, to learn more about your beautiful decoration, to learn more about the denizens in your decorative tank. But don't be swayed. You're perfectly valid. I long ago I told my mother that that I had found a spirituality that really seemed to click with me, that I was really finally onto something that really helped me as a person. And I was talking about Buddhism. And I started to proselytize to her. And she said, Dwain, I'm really happy that you found something that this important to you and that you love it so much. But I worship at shopping malls, and I don't need you to teach me about. And I immediately understood what my mother was telling me, and I shut the hell up because she's right. There's no place to say you can't have a beautiful aquarium as a piece of house decoration, as accoutrement. Just like no one can tell Corey that he can't rock a Rolex on his wrist. But Corey is someone that's so in tune with what's going on around him and in touch with his the numbers of his channel that he fears wearing a Rolex on a live stream is going to make people sneer at him and leave, you know. I don't want him to be afraid. I want him to do what he thinks he knows. So I want him to go for it. I want him to buy the watch and wear it. You know, do a live stream completely nude with just the Rolex on. Flaunt that thing. Bob says there are 20,000 religions and all are the correct one. I would... Gandhi said that there is no true religion that is wrong, and it's a fact. It's a fact that or none is the correct one coming from an atheist. Yeah. But atheism is its own sort of spirituality. An atheist doesn't need religion to give them morality. They find their morality from a secular place. They don't have to have it spoon-fed to them out of a book. They can learn it through real life. And Alien World Aquatic says, I just believe in aliens. There you go. All right, guys, we've gotten ridiculously far afield here. This is about as far away from fish keeping as we could possibly get. Haley says everything comes with a level of fear, especially when you have people watching what you do. I'm freaking out about telling everyone about this big change, but I know it'll be fine. No, Haley, it's not going to be fine. Don't tell anyone. Never breathe a word of it. It's all going to go horribly wrong. we're just people like you are, Haley. we're we all put our pants and dresses on the same way. Every morning when we get up, we have to look in the mirror and see what is there. What have we done this time? What horrible shame must we drag around with us all the time? It's don't feel like you have to not say what you've got to say. Do what you need to do, Haley. Be your best you. Do your best job and let the chips fall where they may. Don't don't be invested in people blowing smoke up your skirt or people telling you what a worthless piece of refuse you are. Uh, you're neither of those things, Haley. You are Haley. And Haley has a great deal to offer to this world, just like all the rest of the people in this chat do. It's not about, you know, when you give a poetry recitation, something that where you're pouring your heart out in front of people that you don't even know. Imagine they're all naked, or imagine they're all sitting in their underwear. Don't look at people like they're the source of agony and misery for you. Look at them like you're going to laugh with them and they're going to laugh with you. That it's just as ridiculous from your point of view as it is from their point of view. And that way you won't feel any reservation about saying what you need to say or explaining a situation that you feel the need to explain. Go for it. Be Haley. All right, guys, we're rounding up to the top of another wasted hour spent in the deleterious pursuits of nothing much. I, I really am thankful that you guys are willing to hang with me for an hour while I talk about nothing, much ado about nothing. Haley's changing gender? That would be a real not today, Bob. What would the bear say? He would say, "Well, I'm glad I got my car before that happened." Eee. Nisi says, "Wasted? Never. It was fun debating about personal money." Um, it's I'm the only reason that Corey strikes me in the way that he does is because I know him in a week or 10 days. I got to know him well enough to feel like I have a little bit of an insight into what drives him. And the fact that this is such a dilemma for him is is worth the price of admission. That this guy is struggling about trying to decide to go buy himself a damn watch is remarkable. It says so much about his character. And it doesn't say bad things about his character. Corey's a real dick, not Nola Jane. Corey can be as big a jerk as he needs to be. But it's because of the situation that he's in. It's because he gets shoved into that corner where he's forced to be not nice to get himself extricated from the situation that he has to. He's I like Corey a lot. And I like Corey a lot because I see that guy eating Pringles in the Amazon jungle. You know, I see Corey as a person and not Corey as a celebrity, and that makes a lot of difference in how you view somebody, and that's something that we should all recognize. I've had my share of run-ins with fish celebrities, and and yet, even when I am really angry, or when I am really offended, or really bound and determined to never have anything to do with that person again in my entire life, which I tend to get that way sometimes, even I have to recognize that I'm dealing with someone who is dealing with people constantly badgering them, wanting something from them, terrorizing them to get some answer. What, I made 600? Woohoo! You made your promise come true, Bob. I made 600. That's the first time I think I've been over 600. But I'm not concerned. YouTube will quickly kick off a bunch of people that no longer watch my videos. YouTube will unsub 50 tomorrow. Early. Okay, early. I heard you. I'm a few short. That's the story of my life, Bob. I'm a few short of something. All right, guys. Since no one's slamming me with important questions to answer, I once again want to thank you guys for wasting an hour of your time listening to this old man who's not an expert ramble on about nothing. My only claim to expertise is I've been in the hobby a long time. I've studied it intensely a long time. I've managed a few insights. I've managed to up my level of fish keeping some. Alice KH, no, I don't work as Santa in December, but I will tell you that I have a red hoodie, and I was in a Kroger shopping, not this year, but last year when my beard was a lot longer. And I was in a Kroger shopping, and I had that hoodie pulled up over my head, and it's a bright red hoodie. And I was walking down the aisles getting something, and there was a little girl sitting in her mother's basket. And when she saw me in that red hoodie with my big long white beard, her eyes got the size of dinner plates. She was probably 3 or 4 or 5, and her eyes got the size of dinner plates. And I smiled at her, and as I walked by, I turned my head a little bit and I went, ho, ho, ho. The look she gave me was worth a mint. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good weekend. Try to keep yourselves and your fish warm if you're in the northern hemisphere and getting slammed by this weather. If you're in the summer, in the southern hemisphere, please try to avoid fires and death by heat stroke. Look, Santa is watching you. Only Santa is real. Yep. All right, guys. Have a good rest of the week. Try to take care of your fish. And thank you for stopping by and listening to me rattle on about nothing. Good luck.